They said the desert was silent. But that morning, the silence broke. A scream rose from the wind, thin, sharp, desperate, and a lone cowboy, riding across the Arizona plains, pulled his reins tight. He turned his head toward the sound, and his heart skipped a beat. 2 little Apache girls were trapped by a fallen wagon near the riverbank, crying for help where no one else dared to go. That moment, under the burning sun, he didn't know that saving them would change his life forever, and what their mother would do the next day would leave the entire town stunned. Luke Morgan was a quiet man, the kind who spoke little but felt deeply. He lived alone on his small ranch, miles away from the nearest town. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but everyone knew his heart was made of something rare: kindness. That morning, he had been fixing a fence in near the creek when that desperate cry pierced the silence. He didn't think twice. He jumped on his horse, Silver, and rode like the wind. As he reached the creek, he saw the scene: a broken wagon, mud splattered everywhere, and 2 terrified girls struggling to free themselves. The younger one's leg was stuck under a heavy wheel, her small hands trembling with pain. The older sister was trying hard to lift it, whispering something in Apache, tears streaking her dusty face. Luke leaped off his horse. "Don't move!" he shouted. "I've got you, girls!" The older one looked up, eyes wide with fear. "You cowboy?" she whispered. Luke gave a small nod. "Yes, ma'am, cowboy. But right now your friend." He bent down, pressed his hands under the wheel, and with all the strength his rough hands could give, he pushed. The mud resisted, his muscles burned, but he didn't stop. The little girl screamed, and with one final heave, the wheel rolled off. Luke lifted her gently and checked her leg, bleeding but not broken. He tore a strip from his own shirt and tied it around the wound. "It's okay now," he said softly. "You're safe." The older sister whispered, "Thank you." Luke smiled faintly. "Just hold on. You're gonna be all right." He carried the younger one to his horse and helped the older one climb behind him. "Hold tight," he said. "We're going home." The ride back was silent. The girls held onto him tightly, their tiny hearts beating fast against his back. Luke didn't ask questions. He could feel their fear, the kind of fear that only comes when someone has seen something terrible. When they reached his small ranch, Luke took them inside. The cabin smelled of firewood and coffee. He laid the younger one down on a cot, cleaned her wound, and covered her with a blanket. "Drink some water," he said gently, handing them a tin cup. After a while, when they finally calmed down, the older sister spoke. "My name's Tala," she said softly. "She's Nia, my little sister." Luke smiled warmly. Tala and Nia, pretty names. The girls exchanged nervous glances. Then Tala said in a low voice, "Bad men came. They took our mother. We ran. Wagon fell." Luke froze. His jaw clenched. "They took your mother?" She nodded. "White men. With guns." For a moment, silence filled the room. Only the sound of the fire crackling could be heard. Luke looked out the window. The land stretched far, golden and cruel, as if holding too many secrets. He knew what kind of men they were. He'd seen them before, drifters who had no law, no mercy. He turned back toward the girls. "You 2 stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me." Tala's eyes widened. "You go find Mama?" Luke nodded slowly. "Yes, sweetheart. I'll bring her back." The next morning, before the sun rose, Luke saddled up Silver again. He followed the wagon tracks, faint but visible, leading into the dry hills. The land was quiet except for the wind whistling through dead branches. Hours passed. Sweat rolled down his neck. And then he saw them. 3 men, outlaws, camped near a rocky ridge, laughing, drinking, boasting. And tied to a tree, her hands bound, was an Apache woman, her face bruised, her hair tangled, but her spirit unbroken. Luke crouched low, his heart thundering in his chest. 3 against 1. He didn't care. He waited for his chance. When one of the outlaws walked away to fetch water, Luke moved fast. He grabbed him from behind, slammed him to the ground, and took his rifle. The other 2 spun around in shock. Luke stepped out from behind the rock, rifle raised. "Drop your guns!" he barked. "Now!" They sneered. "Who the hell are you?" Luke's voice was cold as iron. "The man who's taken her home." They laughed. You think you can take us on, Cowboy? Luke's eyes narrowed. Try me. Before they could move, a shout echoed from the distance. The sheriff's riders appeared on the ridge, guns drawn. Luke had sent a ranch boy earlier to fetch help. The outlaws tried to run, but within moments it was over. The woman was free. Her wrists bled, but her eyes, they shone like fire. Luke walked up to her slowly. Ma'am, your girls are safe. They're waiting for you. She stared at him, her lips trembling. You saved them? He nodded. Yes, ma'am. And I'd do it again. For a moment she just stood there, silent, stunned, tears glistening in her eyes. Why? She whispered. Luke looked away toward the burning horizon. Because no one deserves to lose family. Not if I can help it. When he brought her back to the ranch, Tala and Nia came running out, shouting, Mama! They fell into her arms, crying, shaking, laughing all at once. Luke stood quietly at the doorway, his hat low, a faint smile on his face. He didn't need thanks. Seeing them together was enough. It was peace, the kind of peace he hadn't felt in years. But peace never lasts long in the West. The next morning, before sunrise, Luke heard a soft knock on his door. When he opened it, the Apache mother was standing there, her eyes calm, her hands holding something wrapped in red cloth. Luke blinked. Ma'am, you all right? She nodded slowly. We are, because of you. Then she held out the bundle. This, for you. Luke frowned. What is it? She said softly, a gift from my people, from my heart. He unwrapped the cloth, and what he saw inside left him speechless. That moment would change everything.